Right, where's the stunt guy? They're like, stunt guy. I'm like, what are you serious? Like, what, how do we do this? Like, I mean, you do it.
But also, like, 2 times they burnt the house, like everyone was dangerously close to flames.
That's right. I got my hair burned and my eyelashes burned off in the when Aiden is when he's dying. There was at one point, and I have this on. You know what? I should put this on Facebook. The flames blew over me, and because you're laying there and you're like, okay, so I'm not sure how hot is, so I'm just gonna lay here. And you're like, all right, this hurts. This really hurts. This really, really hurts. And then you're like, okay, all right. And I took the jacket and shielded myself like a pussy. But then when I found that my hair was burned, I felt a little bit tougher. No, I did a lot of stunts. I was told by a few people on set that I was in the top 5 craziest actors they'd seen in terms of stunts. So I don't know if it's something to be proud of or just like I have a low IQ. Not, yeah.
You can say you're the first actor I ever talked to been involved in fire that close. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'll tell you something about
Not
fire.
what you're supposed to do. That's not supposed to be a thing.
It
But
does
No, but
not.
there were a couple like very questionable scenarios, even
Very.
like with Megan's brother,
This is
Jesse,
great.
who gets electrocuted, and that and that's how he dies.
Yeah, want to know how they achieved that? Go for it.
But like there was an
There's like
actual
water,
cable
and they're supposed to. They're
in
supposed
water.
to.
The director was like, I don't know how he didn't actually die. Like he said that
There's
verbatim.
in the episode. There's water that spills out and pools around him, and then a power saw
That's on.
falls
into
and
the
electrocutes him.
Pool of water.
So how did they create that illusion? Well, they just did it.
and hope that his feet didn't touch the pool of electric
They literally did this.
water.
Didn't the saw itself like shoot out?
Oh yeah, there was like
Oh, yeah.
the whole thing. I mean, we weren't there for this, but we heard after the fact that everyone the next day, no one was really talking about it. Everyone was just like,
I remember when Bishop bursts through the window and he's supposed to, to stake Aiden. So it's late at night and we're standing there and they're like, okay, Sam, so just so you know, all right, you can stand here and, I'm standing there and there's the window and he's going to come through and I'm like, okay, is there any concern about glass? Like, oh yeah, it's real glass. So it's really going to shoot out. I'm like, okay, how do I like stop that from maybe, I don't know, like blinding me? They're like, close your eyes. And they're literally making it up. I'm like, all right. Well, I'm sure it can't be dangerous. I mean, we still have more to shoot in this season. It can't be dangerous. And I turn around and look at the crew, and they're like 10 feet back. Here's the window. Crew's over here, and they're all going.
Just in
And they're all armoring up, and they're armoring the cameras up, and I'm just like, what's going on? And then we did it once. And the stunt guy got horribly cut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real glass?
Real glass. So he got totally made, like the air ram that was supposed to propel him through the window didn't go off. So basically, I'm like facing away and I turn around in time to not see because I close my eyes. This guy goes stumbling through the glass and hit the
Oh, wow,
ground.
the air ram didn't go off?
Didn't go off.
Oh.
Next morning, they reset the glass. And I realized, I'm like, wait, this whole eye closing thing is not going to work because this guy, when the air ram fires, and I was looking, because they were talking about the air ram a lot, because it didn't fire. I'm like, how far is it going to propel? I'm like, oh, it's going to go like 15 feet. I'm like, 15 feet. I shouldn't close my eyes. So then, boom, I turn around, we finally do the stunt. The guy goes sailing through the air, and he's like still in midair by the time he gets to me. And had I not had my eyes open, he would have just smashed into me as opposed to like, I'm like, oh, and I kind of caught him. And we went, and then we both fell back, and then there was a mat way back out of frame that we fell into. So, it was ridiculously dangerous. There was another fight we did on a rooftop, no railing. Me and the guy, the guy that played Henry, Kyle Schmidt, are like having a fight scene on gravel, and the edge of the roof is right over here, like this, sheer drop off, no railing, no nothing, and we're fighting here, and it's just like, I don't know.
Were y'all making a TV show or building the Hoover Dam? Like, what was like this? People die, you just keep moving. That's
There's a weird thing when in life I don't really take that many physical risks. I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Do I want to go skydiving? Like, nah, not really. But if they put a camera on me and it was for something, I'm like, all right, let's do it. Fine. Like the fear switches off for some reason, and I think it's because I'm being watched and I feel like I need to be macho.
I'm in character. That's cool.
Right.
And my character's tough.
Yeah,
Can't look like a pussy.
yeah, my character's dumb. You should get a stunt double. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do we have time for another one?
Yeah.
Okay. This kind of isn't really about the show, but you guys are actors, so maybe you can kind of answer this. So the last couple of years, a lot of series have ended. Dexter ended, Being Human ended, True Blood ended, Boardwalk Empire's ending, Breaking Bad, Mad Men. I mean, it just keeps going on. So where do you kind of see the future of television going? Because there's not really a lot of shows coming out.
Oh, no. I think it's like television has never been more exciting. Every day there's new cable networks that are popping up. Like WGN is a new one, like with Manhattan. Do you know this
GM, that's a
Netflix
Yeah.
is doing.
And exactly with
Netflix
Netflix
is
and
doing a
Amazon.
lot of good series.
Like
Yeah.
I think that it's like I'm more excited than ever to do television.
Yeah.
I think that it's like literally there's so many new shows coming out. Like that's all I have to say. Like there's so many ending, but there's so many new ones coming out. And the most exciting stuff for me personally is on the cable networks and on all these
Yes.
new ones that are popping out.
Yeah.
And like especially like the Netflixes
Amazon.
of the world. Yeah.
Netflix.
So no, I think it's great and really exciting, and there's so much going on.
Yeah, those shows
Yeah.
will all be replaced by other
Oh yeah,
shows.
great stuff.
Yeah, we're out of shows. No more shows.
No more.
TV's done. We've
Yeah.
done literally everything we can do.
Yes, exactly.
Pack it up and go home.
We're done.
Turn off the lights, guys.
We're finished.
TV's over.
Yeah.
That's- because you all do, y'all were on cable. What was that like? There's a little bit more freedom on cable than network TV.
Definitely.
Shorter schedules and stuff like that.
Our show, we had 7-day schedules as opposed to like 8, but we had 8 or 9 days of stuff to shoot in those 7 days.
But also you don't in network TV you often will the 13 will then extend to a 22 episode
Yes.
season, so you're working 10 months of the year
Yeah.
on the same show.
Which is not something I would want to do.
No, it's such a time commitment. Like really, then you'd hope that you could do a film in the off season, but chances are that something is going to like perfectly fit into your off
And
time is so
certainly
rare.
No time for a
Yeah,
life.
so that's
Yeah.
your life, and you sign a TV contract and you sign a 7-year deal. You don't obviously know if the show's going to go that long, and if it does, it's probably a great show. But still, you have to think like this could be 10 months of the year for 7 years.
Well, one of the big differences is like I've talked to friends who are on network shows, and boy, they do not have the creative freedom that we have.
Right, exactly, because there's
There's a lot.
Yeah.
They have a bigger budget, and they have a whole bunch of people breathing down their necks. And we were a very low budget show that was, strictly speaking, undermanned on the producer and production side. So the actors were kind of expected to step up in really fun ways, and we got to have a lot of input. It's not to say that the input, like
Made
you
it into the show.
Well, sure, yeah. But there were a lot of ad libs. There were a lot of meetings where we discussed something or brought up certain ideas or pushed something, and it really was a collaborative process. And when I tell people, especially people on network shows, what it was
Yeah.
like on our show, they're very envious because we got to put a lot of ourselves into the show in a way that actors don't generally.
No, it's so rare.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have such a collaborative process.
And that's also a credit to our writing
Showrunner.
staff
Oh, yeah.
and their showrunner for
Exactly.
for opening up those doors and saying, yeah, no, we want to have meetings every week and talk about those scripts and really see how you guys feel about them, which was wonderful. It was very cool.
We have time for one more question.
Make it a good one.
You find yourself wanting to beg to be in the new Star Wars movies?
I'm working on a blackmail scheme right now. I'll find some way to weasel my way into one of them. And since there's going to be about 75
Right.
films coming out,
Yeah, exactly.
the chances have never been better. I actually knew that they were doing new movies, I want to say, like 10 months before everyone else did.
Wow.
Before the Disney acquisition, all that stuff. I remember
That had
getting
been hard
like
to
the
hold on to
text
that.
message, they're doing another Star Wars. I'm like, what?
I have a question. Tell us a little bit about a 13-year run of Star Wars role-playing game.
Well, that's, you talk about like all this stuff that you're seeing in these new movies and some of the stuff that even JJ has released in terms of images from his on-set stuff is stuff that have been in these old RPG books from back in the 80s. That's kind of cool, that world has been influenced by the game and vice versa. That's, if you go all the way back and you read some of those old books, they're still consistent for the most part, with what has come out since. I even gave Dave Filoni the Imperial source book from 1988, and I have no illusions that that's why he chose, like in his new show Rebels, they have the ISB, the Imperial Security Bureau, which is based off the, various Nazi organizations and stuff like that. But the ISB was something that showed up in the game first, and the Inquisitors is something that showed up in the game first. And I'm not saying that certainly not. I didn't give him the book and he came up with the idea from that. But that is where that came from. And so me giving him that book was just saying, here's some more source material from what you're drawing from already,
Right.
which is very cool. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.